Hey, good morning, church. Welcome to Steveo Sunrise Devos. A quick thought from today's one-year Bible readings. And the word of the day is enthusiasm. So, in the Old Testament, in 2 Kings chapter 13, Elisha is dying. King Jehoash comes to see him off. And Elisha gives these instructions to Jehoash. He tells him to shoot an arrow out the window, shot an arrow, and says, well, that's the Lord's arrow, and you're going to be victorious over the Arameans at a certain battle. And then he tells him to take the remaining arrows and strike them against the ground. Jehoash, the king, strikes the arrows against the ground 1, 2, 3 times. And Elisha is upset with him. He said, why did you strike the ground with the arrows only 3 times? If you had struck the ground 5 or 6 times, you would have had complete victory over the Arameans. Now it will only be a partial victory. Now, how was Jehoash to know that? I don't know, but here's my takeaway. He was not zealous and enthusiastic in everything that he did. If he had been zealous and enthusiastic with the arrows, not even knowing the meaning, striking the ground 5 or 6 times instead of 3 times, he would have had better outcomes in his life. All that we do, let us do it with zeal and enthusiasm. We'll get better outcomes. You know, if we flip over to the New Testament portion in today's one-year Bible reading, we get a bit of a confirmation on this, because there in Acts chapter 18, we read of Apollos. And Luke records that Apollos was preaching, teaching the way of the Lord with great enthusiasm. And his enthusiasm not only empowered him to teach, but to learn, because he had a mistaken idea about baptism. Priscilla and Aquila took him aside and instructed him in the way of the Lord more accurately. And then he continued. So he was able to not just teach, but to learn. The best teachers are lifelong learners. And we know he learned the lesson about baptism, because later in Paul's letter to Corinth, he mentions many of the people who were baptized by Apollos. So again, my takeaway today is whether it's learning or teaching or just going about my daily activities, I will do so with enthusiasm. How about you? And as you know, enthusiasm comes from the Greek en, which means in, and theos, which means God. When we're enthusiastic, God is in us in a powerful way. God loves you, my enthusiastic friends, and so do I.